Can anyone stop Godzilla? It is one of the most popular questions that have been asked ever since his first appearance in 1954. And although the King of the Monsters has been portrayed as invincible many times, there are certain instances where he has actually been defeated. But can anyone stop him? Hello everyone, I'm your host, and today we find out if the entire DC universe could take down the mighty Godzilla. We'll look at some of the heavy hitters that might be able to do some damage to the King of the Monsters, and find out who would have a chance of defeating this giant radioactive lizard. For those who don't know, Godzilla was created as a metaphor for humanity's destructive side is seen through the destruction that nuclear weapons caused in Japan during World War II. Although the world's deadliest weapon was not his atomic breath at first, but over the years, Godzilla has become known by that move. When Godzilla inhales, he creates an expanding vortex of air pressure in his throat. This compresses the oxygen in his lungs, and when he exhales, it bursts out of his mouth in the form of an atomic breath attack. It can burn through anything and anyone in its path, and has enough power to level entire cities in mere seconds. Atomic breath is one of the most powerful weapons in his arsenal, and definitely one of the things that makes him so formidable. In the comics, there have been several instances where Godzilla has displayed just how strong he really is. One time he single-handedly took on the entire Marvel universe and almost destroyed it. In the pages of Marvel's Godzilla in 2015, we see our hero go on a rampage like never before. As usual, this all started with the Oxygen Destroyer, also known as the anti-Godzilla weapon. This is the only known substance that can kill Godzilla, which makes it quite hard to use against him, since it requires a human host to survive, a human host who would willingly inject themselves with this deadly concoction. That person would then turn into a grotesque monster called the GHI Billie Eilish, and Adam Lambert sang about it. Anyway, Ghidorah attacks Godzilla but is no match for the King of the Monsters. Godzilla retaliates by slashing Ghidorah across the face with his massive claws, this angering Ghidorah beyond measure, causing him to sacrifice himself and detonate, releasing all of the Oxygen Destroyer within him. Godzilla is mortally wounded and begins to lose control over his own body. He lashes out at everything around him, destroying countless miles of the Marvel Universe. With the help of some friends, Spider-Man is able to calm Godzilla down and bring him back to normal. But the threat of the Oxygen Destroyer still remains, so Spidey swings into action again and takes out the remaining supply. Godzilla is saved from death once again. So as you can tell, Godzilla is nearly invincible, unless he comes up against that Oxygen Destroyer thing. But what would happen if he faced off against someone like Superman? Well, there are some interesting things to consider here because Superman is one of the strongest superheroes in all of the DC universe. His powers include super strength, speed, durability, flight, heat vision, extra vision, telescopic vision, microscopic vision, infrared vision, electrokinesis, magnetic manipulation, nuclear and energy absorption and emission, and solar energy manipulation. I could probably sit here and list these powers all day long, but we'd be here forever. All I can say is that Superman is very, very powerful. In a battle between these two titans, it would be interesting to see their powers clash against each other. Would Godzilla's atomic breath be enough to take down the Man of Steel? Or would Superman's brute force prove to be too much for the King of the Monsters? There are definitely arguments to be made for both sides. However, when it comes down to it, I think we all know who would win this fight. Superman has taken on and defeated gods, demons, aliens, and monsters. He has even gone toe-to-toe with other superpowered beings who can destroy planets just like him. So I don't think Godzilla would stand much of a chance against the Man of Steel. It would be a close fight, but ultimately I believe that Superman would prevail. But what if we put Superman to the test and added more members to Team Godzilla? Let us say we put together a team of DC heroes that could potentially go toe-to-toe with the King of the Monsters. How would they fare in a battle against Godzilla? This is a tough one because there are a lot of powerful DC heroes, so picking just a few to take on Godzilla would be difficult. Also, how many of these heroes would need to be on the team depends on which version of Godzilla we'll be talking about. The Godzilla in the movies is definitely different from the Godzilla in the comics, but I am willing to bet that any team that wants to take down the King of the Monsters would need to be pretty powerful. With that said, I think the following team might just have what it takes. First up is Wonder Woman. She's got super strength, speed, durability, flight, combat skills, and a whole bunch of cool gadgets. She's also a skilled leader and strategist, which would be helpful in planning a way to take down Godzilla. Next, we have He's got super strength, speed, durability, the ability to communicate with sea life and control the seas. Having someone on a team who can control water would be a huge advantage, because water is one of the few things that can actually harm Godzilla. Next, we have Flash. He's got super speed, the ability to run and move faster than the speed of light, and create time. This would allow Flash to strike at Godzilla at impossible speeds, or perhaps even run around him and create a vortex that could potentially suck the king of the monsters up and away. Next is Green Lantern. These characters have been known to wield the most powerful weapon in the universe. The only limit to what a Green Lantern can do is their own willpower and imagination. If the Green Lantern Corps were to join forces, they could create constructs that could potentially hold Godzilla or even trap him in his own atomic breath. Finally, we have Martian Man. He's got shape-shifting abilities, telepathy, telekinesis, invisibility, and a whole bunch of other cool powers. Now, I know this is a pretty big team, but hear me out. Each member brings something unique to the table that would be helpful in taking down Godzilla. Plus, they're all pretty powerful on their own. If this team were to work together, they just might stand a chance against the king of the monsters. They would need to coordinate their attacks and take advantage of Godzilla's weaknesses. But if they could do that, they just might be able to defeat him. But let's say we threw a wrench in this scenario and instead of working together, these heroes fought each other. Who would win in a battle between Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Green Lantern? Well, that's a tough question to answer. Each of these heroes is incredibly powerful and skilled. Wonder Woman is a skilled warrior and leader with a magical indestructible armor, super, strength, speed, durability, and flight. Aquaman is also a skilled warrior with super strength, speed, durability, and control over all sea life. Flash is basically unbeatable, because he can run faster than the speed of light and manipulate time itself. Green Lantern is limited only by his willpower and imagination, and Martian Manhunter is a master strategist with telepathic abilities. However, if I had to pick a winner, I would have to go with Flash. He is literally the fastest man alive and can move at the speed of light. He could easily dodge any attacks that Wonder Woman or Aquaman threw at him, and he could even manipulate time to make himself invisible to them. Even Green Lantern and Martian Man would have a hard time keeping up with Flash. They would need to be able to move at the speed of light themselves in order to keep up with him, and we all know that's not possible. So in a battle between these 5 DC heroes, I believe Flash would come out on top. There you have it. Flash would likely be the victor in a fight against the other DC heroes. But what would happen if he went up against Godzilla? Well, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I gotta say it, Godzilla would win. No offense to Flash, but he would be no match for the king of the monsters. Godzilla is just too powerful. His atomic breath alone could burn Flash to a crisp. Plus, Godzilla is nearly indestructible. Flash would have a hard time doing any real damage to it. Not to mention, Godzilla is much more experienced in combat than Flash. He's been fighting humans and monsters for decades. Flash, on the other hand, has only been fighting villains for a few years. Godzilla would easily overpower Flash and end the battle quickly. So there you have it. Despite being one of the most powerful DC heroes, Flash would stand no chance against Godzilla. The king of the monsters is just too powerful for him to handle. In fact, I don't think there's a single DC hero that could take on Godzilla and win. He is just too strong and too durable. Plus, he has an atomic breath that can burn through anything. So yeah, Godzilla wins. What do you think? Could anyone stop Godzilla? Do you think any of these DC heroes could take on the king of the monsters and win? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more great videos. Until next time, stay safe and stay awesome.